So I've checked all my levels and closed all my programs, and that must mean I'm recording video on Ustream. Yeah, so hey, the trumpets are blaring, and the reign of the nerds has right. Actually, it is almost like a sort of Gestapo tactic that's going on now with the tech press on the internet. I mean, it's so fascinating when the CNETs and the Ars Technicas and others get into like talking about how newspapers are going out, and the great authorities of podcasting come onto their podcasts and say to their large audiences, blah, 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 the trumpets start blaring, and I'm just seeing it over the past few days with these stories that they're circulating, but it's more than just them scratching each other, is the classic sort of muscling out of independent view or dissident view. Like, for example, in computers, those who are in favor of promoting sharing and downloading and things like free data. And, they promote their views in such a way so that we don't see that they are shilling for the corporation. And you're essentially in support of that corporate entity out there. But you make yourself look professional, therefore that somehow justifies it. There will be always a tendency with these people's reportage, and reportage is the journalism of the internet, if you will, if I can really kind of mix the metaphors beyond belief. Reportage just means you see something that goes on and you make a record of that event. Journalism is where you essentially provide opinion, or to a point, analysis as well. But analysis can be a part of good reportage. So you'll see almost no reporting with these people. And the self-criticism is guided by, of course, the real authority, which is the New York Times. And I won't say anything about that because it's considered the paper of record. But it is a convincing zeal that they have for the educated class. They pose as the authority on journalismo in the field of tech for long enough that people actually begin to believe it's true. They get some ego on their side, some big names, some famous faces. I mean, you see the same thing in the porn industry. It's no different. And technology is off of people's screens and therefore doesn't exist in our conversation about technology as groups of people or a mass. It's much like becoming back page news story or filler, or just simply non-reporting something that just simply isn't recorded or reported. Ask yourself this. If I make money writing story for the Holocaust supporter IBM alongside ads on my publisher's website of IBM ads, do I have a dialogue with that reality to address the only obvious hypocritical stance that I can take in my writing? Much more importantly, though, I mean, this is something that we just should have as writers with our publishers to begin with, right? I'm more to heart on that subject because I didn't have a publisher for several years. but I kept writing anyways. Much more importantly is the fact that publishing on the internet, unless you have a different sort of dialogue with your audience, as I do, where I'm not interested in the number of eyeballs viewing my work, which is a vital measurement in the profession, it is just simply intellectual masturbation. It is what I called originally a closed loop form of communication. And I know this nothing more than from my feed here on Ustream. I'm happy to see that there are no viewers on my website for this first month or so of doing this. I might have to reevaluate that as time goes on, because the capabilities for video feeds with an audience are here. But obviously that appeal, which directs the dialogue of probably 400 out of 401 live streams here, is one that I don't agree with or possess. Blogs are essentially read by bloggers and nobody else. Wikis are adored essentially by the wikiers, the people who do wiki. I mean, if you don't know what wiki is, hey, that explains what I'm talking about, right? If you don't know what a blog is, that kind of is self-explanatory. The only people who bring up email with me are those who use email. My friends who don't use email, they don't even dream of bringing it up with me. It's not even a subject of conversation. It's all a terribly sort of cynical position to take, that this is a good place to be to talk about news and reporting. I will trumpet one site that I'm not a part of or affiliated with in any way, and that is the register.co.uk. And I only say that because there is a self-critical dialogue that has persistently been there over the years in reporting on technology. And their reporting is fairly good. I think there is a lot of motivation there by the wayside for the fact that they do stand out for having that critical analysis from all of the rest. So as we persist in this over the years, and it's a trap that I think we all fall into, it's very easy for us to foolishly convince ourselves that this is the way to go about informing us and ourselves about technology, emergencies that come up with our computers, and problems that persist, and how to deal with them in a way that is really dealing with them and not just sugarcoating the problem with another patch from the head. And since the rest of the globe could care less if you all essentially just jumped in the ocean and drowned, taking your blogs and rocket boom videos and popularization podcasts with you, a critical dialogue is the only thing worth maintaining here on the internet. So I ask myself, am I critical enough of the social network providers, SNPs, that I'm registered with and actively using? I think we should all be asking that. Well, we should be. We all must ask that question. If we don't, we are going to have to at some point when push comes to shove. So just to switch subjects a little bit in the direction of free data, something that's come up for me with my music is there is this Linux project out there, and it just came up on the blog at Our Media, where I've registered my videos just for promotion. I'm kind of thinking I might do a photo blog on Our Media. I don't know. But they did a story on it, and I'll maybe do that later.